Hello and welcome to another episode of the Vault Dwellers Podcast. We have a good show lined up today. If there's anyone here who hasn't been listening to some of our previous shows, Vault Dweller Podcast is a show based wholly around nostalgia topics, but we are planning on making a few stops along the way in terms of some mental health episodes and some other pop culture reviews, games, all kind of topics. And this week we have an absolute cracker ahead of the fake E3 that's that's coming up. With me, my co-host, artist extraordinaire, Gary Moore. Gary, what's happening?
Hello, how are you? I'm good. How are you, Mr. Mac?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Just the usual. We actually hadn't planned this one, but
No.
given the fact that we have a podcasting bug, I'd say we're feeling quite good about this one.
Yeah, E3's coming up, and I just felt like it would be a disservice if we never did something for it for our first E3.
Absolutely, that was a thought. It was really just listen. We have our chance this time. Obviously, E3 largely is albeit cancelled, although Summer Game Fest and the yearly schedule is already been posted for different people that are planning to make some press conferences and announcements and things. With Sony's coming about 24 hours from when we're recording right now. I'm not entirely sure about some when we're going to post this versus when we're going to post the State of Play Reacts, so this could be coming to you before that drops, but hopefully either or you should have a look out for that podcast either coming or in your inbox, in your feeds, and have a wee look and a wee listen and see how we reacted to the any of the Sony State of Play stuff. Now we'll not get into that. We're going to just jump straight into this episode, which is our E3 predictions. But we'll keep referring it to being E3, even though we know that E3 is not really typically happening. But we're just going to jump straight in. We've got a few predictions. We're just going to kind of take it in turns. Nothing. If you've heard any of our episodes before, you'll know that nothing is educated. nothing's uh, nothing's
Definitely
educated.
no.
Do his work, pretty much in totally different fields for anything to do with gaming. So, if anybody's here looking for the educated opinions and inside scoops, I'm afraid we've got better experience scooting ice cream than we have scooting for games. So we're just two guys from Scotland that's finally released a podcast, and we have a wee platform to get a wee bit excited about what can come from E3. So I'm going to kick things off.
Yeah.
Obviously with a previous episode that we've done for top favourite games, and our Gary went first, so I'm going to take the lead on this one. It's our Gary's idea, so if this is an absolute flop, then send the hate mail to Gary. Um, I'll kick things off. We've got basically got 5 predictions each. We're going to see who comes out on top, and Gary's going to buy me a bottle of Iron Brew when I win. So I'm.
5 predictions, 2 wild
I was
cards,
going to
so
get to
no.
that. So we've
Oh,
obviously got a wee competition, a wee Iron Brew competition, because why not? We're two Scottish people, so obviously we've got Iron Brew coming out the taps. But it's
yeah.
always nice to buy each other maybe a wee glass bottle. Who knows? Um, Basically, we've obviously got these the 5 kind of main guesses, which is probably a wee bit kind of, I don't know, bland and boring, or something that you would maybe expect to happen. Although again, they're not
Yeah.
researched or educated points. It's just something that we're kind of putting on the paper, and then 2 absolute dream wildcard predictions, which I don't even know. I mean, we could probably count them as regular points, but if they come off, it probably would be probably would be point worthy, depending on what they actually are. But anyway, let's get cracking. Let's not hold you back any longer, because we're hoping for this one to be a wee bit more a streamlined and quicker podcast. But my first one that I've got here, and it is a bit of a boring one right out the gates, but I would like to see it. So I'm looking for, because there's a few PC ones kicking about in terms of who's going to go there. I'm going to say it's going to be a wee bit of Sims 4 DLC, wee Sims 4 pack. So that's my out the gates safety guess.
What you
I
thinking
know I'm
with
not. I'm not
DLC?
quantifying it. No, absolutely not. I'm keeping it wide open. I've watched these shows before. They put mad multipliers, and
I see,
and
I
this guy
see.
comes out and somebody's dressed out, and they do the announcement in Simlish. No, 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 no. It's there. It'll be DLC. That's about as specific as I'm willing to be.
Fair enough, fair enough. So my first prediction is Ubisoft will unveil Skull and
Oh,
Bones, but it'll be totally revamped and it will look nothing like the Skull and Bones that we've seen. I think it's got to be a Skull and Bones that has a story and you'll have a character and it's not just going to be ship on ship
right.
combat
Okay.
anymore. Well, obviously it's
Right.
got to have that, but you know what I mean. It's no, you're not
Right.
just stuck in the ship. That's
Right.
my first
Okay,
guess.
that's. I mean, I think that it'd be hard to quantify what a revamp is. So I'll even give you the points if they show it again and you can get off your ship. We'll let's get that off right.
Aye, aye, that's
Let's
fine.
just,
That's aye,
let's
aye,
just
aye.
streamline your predictions so that you can get a wee bit closer to that bottle, that gingy bottle. That's a good guess, man. I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm starting to get excited as if it's going to happen now. What does Gary know?
My sources for
My sources
Ubisoft.
all the way through France. So I've got here that we will get a longer trailer for Indiana Jones. That's my
Yeah, that's
prediction.
a good one. That's a good
That's my
one.
second one.
Do you think that? What do you think that Indiana Jones got to be like? Do you think it's got to be like an Uncharted, like exactly like a
I
third
think it's got
person,
to
or
be. They have to take the perfect sauce, and I don't even think you really need to enhance it. I think they just take that template and go with it. I think keep the gunplay a
yeah,
minimum, if not improve it. That's not really what Indiana Jones is known for, is the gunplay. It's the puzzle solving,
yeah,
exploring, and all that kind of stuff. So, you probably have your set pieces with
yeah?
your gunplay and that in it, but I think you could get pretty far with a game that would have a strong
Do you
story.
know? I've just got this feeling that I think it's got to be first person. I don't know why. Just in my mind, I can just see it as a first
I think
person
that they
game.
would
I
they
don't
would
know. I don't
really.
know why.
I don't know. I don't see how they would make it work. And I think they just need to go with that third person thing. It works for Sony for years, and the different stuff that they've come up with. So I don't see why they would deviate for that, because you want to see your character, you want to see the whip hanging for your, what I mean, for his belt and all that kind of stuff. I don't know
Yeah.
if you really want it to be first person, but hey, what do we know? And companies have known.
Do you think they use Harrison Ford's face? Do you think they pay the money for it, or do you think it'll be a Xbox Harrison Ford?
Um, I don't even know if it was whoever it was that was taking this on. Um, if I'd want to use his face, I want to get the most. I mean, I don't mean what his what his face looks like there. He's just crawling along the old folks' home trying to escape or something. No offense, Harrison. I know you're a listener, mate, but just no, don't I don't mean to offend you. Don't leave. No, I don't know if I think you want to get the most out of it, and I think you want to start off the bat is kind of separating yourself from the films and that. You want to be starting again and leaving yourself a trilogy, open for a trilogy or whatever. You want to keep it
Yeah, yeah.
entirely separate, a wee bit like the way James Bond things like that are. Where it's its own thing. I think that'd
The
be the best. Aye, I
yeah,
think that'd be
Spider Man.
the best thing.
Yeah.
Aye, on you go.
All right. My next pick is there's going to be a new Mario game, mainline Mario. Like I would say, like Odyssey. maybe even Odyssey 2. I'm not going to
No,
put
that's all
that
right,
as
no.
a stipulation, but I think it's going to be like that. It's going to be the next Mario, Odyssey, Sunshine, whatever you want to say. I think it's been long enough for them not to have like a big Mario game out, and I feel like the time is now for
Moonlight.
Switch to aye. Mario Odyssey
Aye.
Sunshine 2
I
and a
swear to God, if
half.
that's where it comes out as, you can just take all the points. Right, that's a good one. We'll not go into too much depth on all of them. I think that'd be a good shout. I mean, it's been quite a wee while since we've had the Mario
Yeah,
game, so obviously with those
just keep
the
getting
spin-off
spin-offs
things.
and
So
stuff, don't
I
they?
mean, like Mario, that'd be a good shout. Definitely something. I think just Switch could be doing me a few more big titles. So aye, good shout, mate.
Yeah, that's why I was asking you the day when you said the Pokemon game like got announced, and I was like, oh no, if they had a
He's
Nintendo
sweating.
Direct already, I was like,
No,
oh no.
they just. I mean, I think Pokemon works kind of separately to Nintendo. They're their own kind of hang in there, so
Aye,
it
I
should be
think
fine.
so.
Unless
Yeah,
I've
big
not been
enough.
looking at Twitter and you've seen there's a new Mario game. Right, we're going to go back to another kind of boring shout, and I'm going to say that we'll get another trailer for Star Fox. Is it Star Fox? Starfield, excuse
Starfield,
me. I'm getting the two mixed up
Xbox.
there. So Starfield, I'm not even editing that out. I don't care. Um, so I'm going to say that we're going to get another trailer for Starfield, but we're also going to get some gameplay footage. That's what I'm going to put that.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I actually one of my predictions I had on, and I took off was we were going to get Starfield, and it was going to be another
Oh,
teaser
well,
leading to
you going to
getting the
get it the last.
gameplay.
I wish you'd have had it on because that would have been that could have been a good difference.
No, I think you're right. I think it's time to see this game. They've been talking about
Mm-hmm.
it for like 7 years. It's time to actually see what the fruits
Yeah,
have bared.
definitely. We need
You
that.
know,
We need gameplay. Aye.
the Xbox need it
Oh,
definitely.
especially with the delay in mind, obviously. So, that's my shout. What you got, mate?
So my next one is a Red Dead Redemption trailer will come out, and it'll be Red Dead Redemption the remaster
Oh
remake, not
God!
even a remaster remake. Red Dead
Right, a
Redemption One.
remake. A
That's a
remake.
remake. Red Dead Redemption One. Aye. Because they've in Red Redemption Two, they already made half the map for Red Dead Redemption Two. For you know what I mean? Because it had that full Bolton bit with Armadillo and all that.
Why would it not be a
So
remaster
they
then?
literally only had to make because they've remade it. They've remade it for Grand Theft Auto. Remade it for Red Dead Two, so they just would need to remake Mexico. And then, because I think if they went all out, they should remake it. I don't think they should remaster it because remasters, I don't know. I just think a game like Red Dead could be doing with getting a full remake to be like, here's Red Dead 2 and Red Dead 1, and they both from the same quality, same high quality.
Why is this not in the
Um,
Why is this not in the wild card section? Why is this in your main section?
I don't understand how this has not been done already by Rockstar. Like they literally made that bit of the map. They literally only have to make a wee bit of Mexico.
You
I know
know
it's
that
not
Red
just a
Dead
wee
was
bit,
released
but you know
how
what I
many
mean.
years ago now?
I'm
If
telling
it,
you, it's going to be happening.
if they're
This
going to
prediction
release
is
anything about Red
happening.
Dead, it's some sort of Red Dead Online or Grand Theft Auto Online fucking DLC. There's no danger they're putting anything into single player.
And you know, I'm gonna put a
Oh, here we
stipulation
go.
on this. See when they see see when they release this Red Dead
Uh huh.
Redemption remake, they're gonna put at the end and Red Dead Redemption 2 PlayStation 5
Right.
upgrade coming.
Okay. Okay.
Boom.
Right. I'm just gonna collect on that bottle of juice right after we finish recording. No. Listen. Stranger things have happened. Right. Fan, Rockstar. Okay. Right. I can't read my writing. Bethesda will release a new trailer for Elder Scrolls, but we won't get a release date again.
Do you think it'll be a teaser, or do you think it's going to be a proper
Just another teaser.
trailer?
Just something. I don't know what,
Just a teaser.
but Aye,
Just be people singing in a
aye,
sword, wouldn't it? How do I do it?
aye. We're
How do I
still
do
working on this. Paradin da dum bum. That kind of.
it?
Aye, I think that's what we'll get.
So my next one will be Hotline Miami
You forgot
3.
that was my pipeline dream, by the way.
So I just felt like it'd been a long time, and I know Devolver always they like to have a wee jab in there for E3, don't they? So they
Aye,
always do a wee conference. So I always think that was a good one for them. I think it's time they probably did a new one. I think also it'll look completely different. I don't think they'll do it pixelated. I think they'll maybe even like make it look actually decent. Do you know? I was thinking today when I was thinking about this, I was like, do you know what'd be great for that? I think it'd be great. It'd probably cost so much money, but it'd be great to do that view, like still same bird's eye view, but have it like remember like the old Mortal Kombat games where it was like live people. I think that would be so cool. I don't think it will be that, but I just
no,
think that's a good idea.
I want exactly the same game again, just more levels. That's all I want.
Hotline Miami 1 and 2 remaster.
Aye, it's and just to qualify, my guess is simply just a new Hotline Miami game. That's just my just in case anybody gets the wires. I'm not saying it won't be pixelated. It's just I just want another game. So that was it. That was in my pipe dreams because I don't believe it will be there. But anyway, let's hope. Aye. Well, my last one in the main guesses then is a new Watch Dogs trailer or teaser.
Ooh,
I
that's a
think it's
good
been
one.
it's been a few years now, so and it still could be I don't know, next year or
Yeah.
whatever, end of next year or something like that. But it's been a few years. 2020 was when Legion came out, so I think there'll
Would
be a
Have
wee
you got
teaser.
no? It's no a stipulation, but have you got a wee guess where they could go,
I know I was thinking about it.
or where would you like?
I don't know. I mean, I liked the second one. I didn't mind the third one. I didn't mind Watch Dogs Legion. Um, it was good for what it was, but I don't really think it needs to go a specific place. Where was the first one based?
Chicago, was it not? I think it was Chicago.
If I had to guess anywhere, and again, as you said, no stipulation. I don't know. You could, to be honest, you could go anywhere, but I'd like a busier city. No
Mm.
necessarily like New York or something like that, but aye, something just a wee bit busier.
You know, when I was playing Legion, I think the next place they'll go is Paris.
Aye, aye, that's a
I
good shout.
thought, and obviously Ubisoft have the kind of French ties as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think that's just a. I would quite like to actually see like a futuristic Paris. I thought that'd be pretty cool.
Mhm. Aye.
Um, but no,
Yeah.
that's a good prediction. I never even thought of Watch Dogs actually, but you're right. It has been a wee while.
Mhm. Aye.
Um, so my last prediction is EA, and I think it's time for them to bring back Fight Night.
Oh, mate, I'd like to see that. I'd
I
like to see
feel
that.
like I feel like boxing has kind of went up in popularity again, especially with a lot of the heavyweight fighters all coming out, and obviously, like, is it Jake Paul and Logan Paul? They're kind of bringing boxing to a big, huge YouTube um, demographic as well, which is probably a lot of younger people. So I think EA would be silly not to go back to the boxing. I like the UFC games, but I think if anybody will play the Fight Night, you know how good the Fight Night games used to be. I think you know,
Aye, that was the biggest thing I enjoyed about the fighting games is that it's I don't know how I said it's a better fighting game, but it's just a better simulation of a game rather than I think sometimes the UFC games can be a wee bit button bashy, like when you're kind of stuck in some of the submission stuff and that. And I don't know, I just feel like
yeah,
I like the tactical side of the fight
yeah,
night and that kind of approach to boxing, like where you've got to kind of sometimes just outpace a guy, and just
yeah,
wait for your
definitely,
points rather and things and combinations and all that kind of stuff is plays a kind of part that you will watch. How many times you actually try and jab somebody, or you're going to be kind of out of puff. So
Yeah.
that's a good shout
Yeah, do you
for a
know
game.
I've got a really good memory of fight night, and I used to always do the same thing with every fight night I got. I used to always make the biggest guy, biggest heavyweight, big power puncher. It was always like pure power, and then I don't know what one it was, but you could actually like go the pros and like do their career. And I went to Muhammad Ali because I was like, I'm going to go him and
Mhm.
try to learn that, like his fighting and his is all like defense, and it's about moving in the ring and dodging and weaving, and it took me ages to learn it. But see, once I learned it, I was like, this it's amazing that this game that I just thought was like run up, punch, 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 dodge, punch, punch, turned into no, actually, I'm just going to turn into a total defensive player. And
Aye,
I'll be lucky if I throw like 3 or 4 punches in this round. It's all about I'm just dodging and weaving, to and it was perfect. It was a perfect game for that, actually, for, as you said, like the boxing sim, and it's a game that I think EA are really missing. I know they've got the UFC. I just think that is a really good game. And I think with popularity of boxing right now, I think it's definitely time to bring it back.
I would too. I'd get that. I would probably like to see. I don't know if you maybe need like some sort of legacy mode or something like that, where you would be, like how it used to work with the games. Like you'd have like, oh, you're number 7, and you get to like challenge the next number, and you get to pick your
Yeah,
opponent and all that kind of stuff. I think I'd really like that side of things. I don't really like the story and the.
yeah. Can I just say as well? Remember how good boxing games used to look, like, and they were on like PlayStation 2s and 3s. I think
Aye,
how good it would look in a PlayStation 5. It would be
aye.
beautiful.
You'd pay half your time in the instant replay screen.
Aye, be photo moding it right up, telling you.
Gary loves a good replay.
Right,
Right,
so on to the
wildcard
wild
time.
cards. Wild
What I'm gonna
card.
what I'm gonna do is maybe just say for you to go first because I've only got one, so mine's kind of would sandwich yours because mine's is already taken up with the Hotline Miami. So
Yeah.
lead us in, lead the charge, mate.
So my first wild card, I'm going to stick with EA. So I think
Good.
EA are going through this kind of weird moment now. I think they're starting to get popularity back. They are remaking Dead Space for the ground up. So I
Yep.
thought to myself, do you know what? Maybe you can go and remake another game that I love, and it's Saboteur. And I want a full remake. I don't want a remaster. I want a full remake for ground up, and I actually want them to fix a few things because there was a few things wrong with Saboteur that just needed to be a bit changed. But I think Saboteur would be a perfect game for EA to have, um, to bring that franchise back. Actually, I think it's a game that they're kind of missing. They've not really got like a lot of like third person action games. EA,
No, they don't know.
so
I
I
should say
think
though that you're putting a lot of eggs in the EA basket, and they don't even know if they're going to come this year.
they're just like, we've got EA
Aye,
football,
aye.
because we don't have FIFA anymore.
I'm going to we're going to post this episode, and the very next day it'll be like EA plays, be like winter announcements or something like that. Be like we're going to delay our time until winter, or EA plays cancelled or something like that. Like, so I think it's probably worth it. I think we kind of mentioned it at the start that we're not really sure who's going to be here or no, but a lot of these
Yeah,
guesses
yeah,
are going to are really based on if these companies are actually going to announce anything or do anything. They're maybe just going to drop the attention or drop
yeah.
their announcements during that time. But
I think
we'll
I think the thing with E3 now, isn't it just E3 like in a week now? So it's kind of lasts a month, and it's very
aye,
sporadic, isn't it?
aye, aye, definitely. We can, as you kind of pointed out before the show, we can have a wee chinwag about all that and what that means to us.
Yeah,
Um, so my last guess then. I don't see this happening whatsoever, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But I would like to see another. People are going to go like, what? But another train game, right? Train. I love the train games. So if I want a magic enter into existence, Train would be my magic into existence game, and
what is
there's
that? Is
no
it, would it be
chance.
Train 5? Is it 4, 5?
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
Do you know
I
the
play
wrong?
the games, but I don't know the number. I believe it would be 5.
Hmm.
So I'm not
That's
going
a
to
good pick.
I'm not going to quantify it because they'll probably do the usual and do a something point something or something. Anyway, Trine. I
No,
deserve
that's a
the
good
point if
one.
Trine comes up. Never mind if it's 5 or no.
So my last wild card.
Wild card,
Um,
cap it off, cap it off.
it's one that's maybe near and dear to me and you. So I'm sticking with another remake. I'm going remake daft in this episode.
Aye.
So IO Interactive, I think, will pull the punches and remake Freedom Fighters.
I knew that as soon as you said a game near and dear to both is, I thought he's going to go with Freedom Fighters. Fucking no chance.
I want Interactive to take all their nice wee Hitman money and just pour it into a full remake of Freedom Fighters. Also, a game that I think Saboteur could be doing with a couple of like upgrades, and it's not a true remake. It'll just be like we've got to tweak some things to make it better.
Hey, when
Um,
that game came out, it's like a PS2 game, I think, Freedom
Aye, it
Fighters.
is. Aye, definitely. It needs a remake and a wee by extra, but most of your work's done like as in story and stuff like that. But it's just level design, etc. I think they could remake it and actually make it better. I actually think it'd be pretty good if they like. I was thinking like they could use some of the Hitman mechanics, maybe no like getting changed into people's uniforms and stuff like that, but I mean, like they've got a lot of the killing and stuff like that, and the action and Hitman games. It's could easily transfer it over to a Freedom Fighters game, but I know they've kind of got their hands with the James Bond game.
Can I just
But
say that for to be honestly to be like completely open thingy to this because we're an audio podcast, but the deadpan serious look on his face as he's going through all this, by the way, is really hard to look
do
at. I just keep staring at my own face because I thought if I look at him, I'm just going to start laughing. So,
you
um,
know? I
he's
would
been
have
deadly
thought
serious.
I would have thought this is an absolute like total dream in a million years, but I was Hitman 2, and I was sitting at one of the levels, you walk through it, and there was a Freedom Fighters arcade machine, and I'm like, they've actually, like, not only have they pulled an absolute, I know it was their IO, but, like, they pulled an absolute obscure game out and be like, oh, here's an arcade here. And I was like, that's just awesome. Like, it obviously still lingers in their mind at some degree.
Aye,
And,
one guy decided, yeah, should we put on
aye,
this
aye.
arcade machine?
He went, I like this
Um,
Freedom Fighters game.
What game did you? I don't know. I mean, what games have you worked on? Why don't we give it a shout? I worked on Freedom Fighters. It was this weird game back in 19 canteen.
Don't you
Uh,
undersell Freedom Fighters, you
Fre-
rat.
Freedom Fighters was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But it's aye.
Before its
Listen,
time.
that's what the wild card is about. It's pie in the sky
Oh,
stuff.
God.
100%. That's it. So before we get to our sign off, why don't you talk our listeners, if they're still listening, if they're not discredited and unsubbed by now by the array of guesses that we've put out into the
I,
universe.
I think I think they were not bad, by the way. I don't think there's obviously the wild cards are outlandish, but I actually think most of them are possible.
Some of them, some of them.
Mines are possible.
I don't have much confidence in mine. I only wrote them 10 minutes ago. So,
So there you go.
in terms of E3 then, and obviously you kind of came to me a few days ago for full transparency. Obviously, we were speaking about when the schedule of episodes are going to go out. And Gary had a light bulb moment that we should, put something together in terms of E3 and predictions and stuff, just for a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we were obviously speaking about at the time was how we preferred the way E3 used to run in terms of, I mean, if back in the day we wouldn't watch it together, but it would be like the end of the day we'd have a wee catch up, or the end of the week sometimes if we were busy with work and stuff we'd have a wee catch up in terms of what our highlights were. But generally it would run over the course of a week, and it would be just the major names, Sony, Xbox, all the rest, running one day after another. And for me, that's the way I preferred it, a wee bit more condensed.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
No, I totally agree. I think like do you know, even if people don't want to take part in E3, I kind of wish even like maybe like Sony's state of plays and stuff like that. I wish they just kind of saved them up and went, you know, the month of June we're just gonna like blast out like a 2 hour state of play. You know, and it doesn't need to be the same week as E3. It can be like a week after. I just wish everybody still condensed it to like June as like the gaming month. um, I did prefer E3 when it was like everybody was just like, you knew what day everybody was gone and everybody was going to be there, and that's where you were going to get your yearly news for everything you wanted. Um, I definitely preferred E3 like in that format. It's a bit strange nowadays with like Nintendo having their whatever they're called, and
Direct.
obviously directs and PlayStation having their state of plays. I don't even think. I don't. Is the Xbox even at E3? Are they not just doing their own thing now as well?
No, I think I'm sure I've seen it. One of the things is Xbox and Bethesda kind of thing. I think they're kind of amalgamating into
They're
one.
still they're still doing it, right? That's good.
I
But
believe so. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure.
no, I have really nice fond memories of like watching E3. I mean, as you said, like we would be sitting watching it. We wouldn't be talking or anything like that, but we would be like just texting. Oh, did you see that? Did you see? Oh, did you see this game? You know, and just talking about it. And it's nice fond memories, but it's really hard now, especially with being an American as well. You know, it's like sometimes some of the conferences are on at like 1 in the morning for us, so that you're waking up in the morning, opening Twitter or any social media, and it's just like, oh, here's all this stuff that you're not getting to see, and it's just getting flung in your face the first thing in the morning. You're like, all right, oh, so that's coming out now, is it? Oh, brilliant. Nah, it's rotten actually.
I prefer. I mean, last year they did obviously that summer games fest, and it ran like for the full duration of the summer, and it was quite difficult to kind of keep up and keep the conversation relevant. I would say,
Yeah.
in at any given time, because rather than it being condensed and you're speaking about it, it's you would lose track. I mean, I downloaded a calendar last year and tried to keep up with it, but it just became a wee bit too much because I don't mind dedicating like, all right, this week is going to be E3 week, and I'm going to
Mm.
play, I'm going to play games and watch this conference, or I'm going to sit and watch these conferences. But when it comes to like, trying to fit things in across a full month or whatever, it does become a wee bit more difficult to fit in. But
Yeah.
listen, I think we just obviously it's things move at a bit at a different pace and a different speed these days. So as much as we don't like the fact that they're no there, I don't I don't agree fully with what you were saying about people them saving up their points and stuff like that and bringing them out. I do like hearing sometimes a wee update here or there, because if we don't hear for Sony on different stuff, then obviously the two of us are big Sony fans. I like hearing from them throughout the year, different points here and there, just because it allows them to have things dedicated. Like I think in the next couple of months we'll maybe see like a God of War state of play, and it doesn't need to be. They don't need to come out at June at this dedicated time and come out and tell us what's happening. They have a chance, and it just, I don't know, it gives a wee bit more. I thought there's a wee bit more excitement about that. The fact that in any given week there could be a random state of play coming,
Mm.
just to
I think
just to go for the positive spin on it a wee bit.
I think the only problem with that is a lot of the state of plays have been absolutely rubbish, because a lot of it has been. I mean, a lot of it, they're very open about what's going on. It, you know, like that last one was like this is a Japanese focused PlayStation state of play, and I watched it and I was like, I literally don't like the look at any of these games, and I've wasted 40 minutes of my time. That was my own fault for watching it. They told me it was got to be Japanese, but I think when they had it kind of when the E3 format, like I know what you're saying, like it's good to hear wee bits and pieces throughout the year, but I think they bring their big bangers, in every E3, because it was we're going to compete with Xbox, and Xbox are competing with us, so we're bringing the big guns, and the both of them would do it and do it. And I know that is maybe probably the reason that they stopped doing it, because I think one year they didn't really have much. And then it's like, look at Sony now, they look rubbish because Xbox had a better year. So maybe I don't know. It's just different, isn't it? It's not going to change. It's just the way it is now.
Yeah,
But aye,
I think there's definitely there's different pros and cons to why you would want to be
yeah,
at an E3, and if they had something, then you would probably, I don't know, I can see the merit for why are they doing it this week rather than waiting for a couple of weeks' time. But I think just what you said there in terms of comparing, everybody's comparing. I mean, you know what it's like. You know, a few years ago it was, did Xbox win E3? Did
yeah,
Sony
yeah,
win
yeah,
E3? And they just spend an abundance of money on trying to do something bigger and better than the competitor when they don't really need to compete as much
yeah.
anymore. So that's probably the
The only thing with Sony and Xbox is once they stop competing with one thing, everybody just moves to something else, don't they? That's the
there,
problem, isn't it?
there'll always be a direct comparison between the two. That'll be, forever until um, until we till there's no consoles anyway.
Till
that's
Xbox
just
fold.
that's that right. Yeah, you're right.
But I know it is a shame, but it's the world we live in nowadays. And do you know the last thing I would say about E3 is, do you know when it was actual E3 like a few years ago, like I would set time and I'd watch every conference even if I wasn't interested. You know, like if it was like a PC or like the Xbox one, even though I had no interest and I was never going to get an Xbox, I would still watch it. But now that it's so fractured, as you said, and it's over, sometimes it's over a month and a half and people are just gone and then people are saying this and then this other company isn't speaking anymore because they don't have anything to show and it's just so fractured that it is hard to even catch up nowadays to even know what's coming out unless it's a big hitter.
I trying to make time individually is a bit more difficult than collectively when you can just kind of sit and watch a couple of conferences back to back or whatever as you're doing something in that week
Yeah,
becomes I'm just going to consume the E3 conferences week, and then
yeah,
obviously then you can kind of check out. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Kind of Funny. I usually just watch their reactions to conferences, and I usually watch them watching the conference, followed up usually by what their kind of post thoughts are. So that's kind of what your week becomes, is unscheduled, just listening to other
yeah,
people's stuff. But when that becomes sporadic over a month, I tend not to check in as much, and you're kind of cherry picking it a wee bit rather than just consuming everything. So I absolutely agree with you on that front.
yeah.
So, listeners, Vault Dwellers, that has been your Vault Dweller podcast. Again, I'm not entirely sure in terms of editing and scheduling and getting this episode out ahead of the E3 run. If you want to have a wee look at the feeds and see if we have a reaction out for the Sony conference, that would obviously be appreciated if you can check that out. Drop us a wee sub or a like or a comment. Leave something here if you think that there's a few things that you would like to see at the fake E3 conference this year, and let us know what your best E3 memory is over the past 10 years or so, because we are all about that hype and nostalgia vibes. So until next time, goodbye.
Bye.
You don't want to do your goodbye, children?
No, not a day. It's
Cool.
not a real episode.
Oh man. Hi everyone, thanks for listening. This has been the Vault Dwellers podcast. If you'd like to keep up with myself and Mr. Gary Moore, Gary is on Instagram at Gary Moore's Art, and you can find myself over on Twitter and Twitch at MrMac92. And a very special shout out to a very talented artist, our good friend Hoodie, for creating the logos used on the Vault Dweller podcast. Keep up with Hoodie at the Penny Marvels on social media.